This is Kate Northrup, author of Money, A Love Story, and as part of the launch of my book, which comes out this week, I'm interviewing some of the people I love and respect about their money love stories. Money is such a taboo topic, and I really want to bring it out into the open a little bit more and have public conversations about money that are conscious and loving to inspire more people that it's possible for them to have a conscious, loving relationship with their money. So I've invited my friend Scott McGee, and he and I are sort of what you could call us colleagues,
yes,
which is sort of a funny word. We're colleagues. And, Scott's an entrepreneur, and we have a dog visiting us. and he and I met through our work with USANA Health Sciences, which is the network marketing company that we're partnered with. And I've just really come to respect a lot of what Scott has to teach in the entrepreneurial sense and internet marketing sense. So I'd love to know, first of all, Scott, when you were growing up, what did you learn about money and what did you witness? What lessons were taught to you about money?
Probably the biggest was save 10%. If you save 10% of everything, you'll be set, right?
Huh.
Like later on, because
That's
it's
good
the
advice.
compound interest, yeah.
Did you follow it?
Until I was like a year out of college, and then you run out of money and you use all of it.
the
It was good up until that time, but it all went very quickly. But I can see that being good advice. But as an entrepreneur, I think there's times where it's hard, and it's like one of the biggest challenges as an entrepreneur is sometimes it's capital. It's like,
yes.
And so I know there's times where if I didn't take money to put as capital for that, and some people have such closed minds about getting into debt, but as an entrepreneur, you have to be willing to do that.
Yeah, to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when did you become an entrepreneur? Did you ever have a corporate job first?
Well, it's a kind of a long story. I can make it kind of short for this.
That's what
so,
you're here for, though. To tell your story.
I was actually normal, right, back in the day. And so I was going to college, like they tell you to. All I knew was two things. Was number one, that I did want to make lots of money. And number two, I like kids. So at that point, I was going to be a pediatrician.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And but then actually, I got a big wake-up call one day. Never forget, I was really close with my sister. I was 18. She was 17, still in high school, about to graduate. And I was taking it was the final exam for my calculus. And so I'll never forget, because I'm getting this call, and it's like, even though it's on vibrate, it's still vibrating and everybody's looking at me. But after like the fifth time, I figure something has to be going on. So I take it out and I like duck under the desk and I'm like, hey, Devin, you know what's going on? I'm kind of in a test. But she said, I have something I need to talk to you about. It's going to change my life forever.
Whoa.
And totally changed the direction where my life went. And I failed that test, by the way. So I immediately go turn in my paper and go outside to call my sister, and she says at the age of 17 that she's pregnant. And, it could happen to any of us, right? But so you can't judge. But at that time, easiest way I could explain it is my heart was up here and it felt like it sunk to down here, right? And so I was broke. Because they say, go get student loans, do whatever you got to do so you can go through college. I ended up, and I'll never forget some moments like, we were getting ready for her to have the baby. She didn't have money. I didn't have money. I wanted to help. And we went and got this old, the things the babies sleep in.
A
crib, okay. So I haven't made that journey in life yet.
Not a father yet.
So that's still working. So we got this crib and we were screwing it together, painting it up. And I'll never forget, because she's so happy and she smiles. And I smile too. But it was the fakest smile, that I've ever had. Like, I'm smiling, but it didn't feel real. And I think one of the biggest thing, people have these mindset about money. And one of the biggest one is they say, money won't buy you happiness. But my answer has always been, poverty won't buy you happiness either, right? And so, that's the way I felt. And like, my thinking is that money is anything you want in life, outside of the spiritual world, you have to transfer it into this tangible thing, and it takes a currency, which is money, right? And so, but how I got to entrepreneur is, so she has the baby, and at one point I went over to her house, and she has this box, and it was support from the government. And I'm opening it up, she has to get the kid to daycare, and I'll never forget, totally changed my life, because when I walked away I said that someday, somehow, I was going to change my circumstances. And it went to the computer with a search that said something like, how do you make money fast? And so that led me down a lot of different things,
I bet it did.
eBay, real estate, affiliate sites, all kinds of stuff. And then, as you know, because we're both in network marketing, eventually with the MLM company.
So this is not a question I've asked anybody else, but Out of all the different options that you tried, eBay and real estate and affiliate marketing, and I know that you and your business partner do coaching programs and online info products and all that stuff. Out of all those choices, why is network marketing been the avenue for you for creating financial freedom?
Okay, and I don't think that MLM is the route for some, or the final game for somebody that wants to make millions and millions a year.
Right.
Because MLM does have its limits, and there's traditional businesses where you can make a lot more wealth. But as far as time flexibility and time freedom, me and my business partner, we like to say it's the best launch pad out there for anybody.
Yeah.
Because when I was doing, and I really got a lot of people don't appreciate what MLM offers, and I understood because when I was running eBay, you know, my roommate was so mad at me because I had boxes in the living room. He can't watch his football games and stuff like that, and so he's like yelling at me. But with USANA, you don't have to worry about that.
Right.
They're doing all kinds of things like processing credit cards on the back end, just stocking inventory, doing a lot of the packaging and stuff, and so. For somebody that doesn't have any other business experience, I think it's the best route to get started. Now with that, I believe in synergy, especially businesses. And one thing I've realized about true business owners is that they're more of people that invest their money and resources into synergistic business relationships. I've never met a true entrepreneur that has one business. Right. So through that, I've kind of diversified and I have other businesses.
That's cool.
MLM was definitely my start.
Your launch pad.
And it's still there, regardless of whether I work every week. There's money coming in, and I, can't complain about that, right?
So awesome. I love that. And obviously, those are many of the same reasons that I have chosen that as well. So I'd love to know for you, what is that story about your sister is pretty touching, and it was obviously really inspired you to take action and create a different situation for yourself and your family. And along those lines, I'd love to know, is there anything that you've learned about yourself through your journey with money and being a business owner that's been an important lesson?
It comes and goes.
Money? It comes and goes? Nice. That's very profound wisdom.
I will say that the biggest thing I've learned is that the most important aspect you can have as an entrepreneur, or anything really in life, is your knowledge. And so my constant... and I didn't have this, maybe a little bit, but I've definitely, it's become more of a profound thing in my life, is search for knowledge and sharpening my skills, my networking skills, everything.
Yep.
And that is the most important aspect, because the money, it's going to, if you had the other, you can take money away from anybody, and like you've probably heard stories like that, it's going to come back to you. Totally. You can take my money right now, away from me right now, and I'll go get it within a short period of time, whereas 7 or 8 years ago, it took me 7 or 8 years, or not 7 or 8, but it took me 4 or 5 years before I was making a decent amount of money. Yep. So. But now, because you have the skill set and the knowledge, you could create it again. Yeah. So it's not really about the money. It's about the skill set and the knowledge. It's the famous, the late, great Jim Rohn, right? He says, it's not about the $1 million, which it's always stuck with me. I used to have this hanging up. It's not about the $1 million. It's about the person you become making that $1 million. Yeah. That's and so really to me, that's important. Very profound. Cool. And because I know you're a young guy and none of us have this totally figured out, I would love to know, what's your next frontier when it comes to money, or what's your growth edge? My next frontier is autonomy. I think that so many people, they're chasing something, and they have the life they went into originally they could have, but then they get stuck in this like entrepreneur rat race where it's like there's more. So to me, it's like really, and I don't think enough people do this, sit back to say, what is my ideal lifestyle, and then go out and design it. And so the end game may not be, $20 million a year. It may be $1.5, $2 million a year and have this other lifestyle, or 100,000. Yeah. Whatever that is, it's different for everybody, but you have to start with the end game. Like, it's like, I always tell people get into this, and it's like you wouldn't get on a plane without a destination. Right. But they get into the business and entrepreneurship without any destination. So it's like, what is your destination? And then making your life as perfect as possible and designing it around that. I love that. That's really smart. And that's actually a conversation Mike and I had the other night, to just really take a step back and say, okay, what are we doing here? And what are the choices that we're making? And how can we create the freedom that we actually want? Because it is really easy to get so swept up, especially with the book launch and stuff, in like, oh, you got to do this and you got to do that. And it's like, 15 guest posts later and all this stuff is just like, wait a second,
I didn't actually consciously sign up for that. So
Yes.
that's a really great lesson. Thank you for that.
And I'll say, just because it was
Yeah.
kind of related to that, is that I think that's a key, what you said, saying no.
Yeah.
It's like, because in the beginning, when you're first coming up as an entrepreneur, it's like you say yes to everything, because
Totally.
anything that can get you some money, but you reach this point where it's like, you can say no and still make money.
Yes.
It's like, actually, you can make more
You can
money
make more
by
money by
saying
saying
no to the things that don't bring in the value. So I just thought that
That's
was
really
relevant.
good. That's really good. If you want to hear more of Scott's wisdom, go visit him at the MLM blog.
The MLM blogger. The MLMblogger.com.
TheMLMblogger.com. TheMLMblogger.com. And if you want to hear more money love stories and learn more about this book, Money, a Love Story, go over to moneyalovestory.com. And when you're there, you'll learn about a 2-hour online event I'm doing called A Course in Having Enough. And I have guest teachers Marianne Williamson, Barbara Stanny, and Amanda Steinberg, who founded dailyworth.com, joining me for that course. And you get it for free when you buy the book. So thank you so much, Scott, for coming.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I
a
really
great
appreciate
time.
your wisdom.